everything you thought about this person isn't true. How can you be these two things at once? You're a great dad. Like, I have nothing but great memories of you, but then you had this whole other life. I felt the intense surge of adrenaline and anger. I said, you hypocrite. Because the worst thing you could be in my mind was, as a person, as a Christian, as a hypocrite. And to find out my dad was a hypocrite was like, it was a devastating feeling. Not only was he a parent becoming a human, he was a pastor becoming a human.
The next morning, my family, Kathy, my dad, my mom, I think, take me to the airport. And they take me to 30 days of rehab. They say, oh, okay, Dr. Earl, the founder of this center, who's like in his 70s, he wants to meet with you in his office. And he says, tell me your story. I'm like, my story? What? So I tell him everything. And when I'm done, he just kind of puts his pen down and his notes, and he just looks at me and he says, you are a first-class asshole. I've never been called that in my life. But you know what? It felt good. Because that's exactly who I was. And then he said, you are the poster child for sexual addiction in this country right now. I've never seen anyone covered up as long as you've covered it up in a position like you've been in. He said, I don't know how you did it. He said, I doubt you'll ever get free. And I'm looking at him thinking, I'm paying you to get me free. He said, oh, we can. We can give you the tools. We can show you what to do. But he said, I doubt that you've got the courage or the strength or the willpower or the discipline or the tenacity to do what you're going to have to do to get free. Because it is deep in your life. And you've gone places that I've never seen men go to. I met people, we did group work. I met with 4 or 5 counselors a day, went for 30 days. My wife came in the last week, had to do full disclosure, tell her everything, every little thing that I'd done in 23 years. It was brutal. She passed out twice, literally just passed out, like they had to revive her. It was awful. All this therapy, equine therapy, horses, I mean, you name it, like just crazy stuff. And I get on the plane. And as I get on the plane to go home, I see a flight attendant and I look at her and lust just starts to roll inside of me all over again. And I thought, this has not even helped.
I thought my parents would be together forever. How do I get to know this person again? Not just my dad again, but like now my mom too, because like this is going to change her and shift her in some way.
I mean, when I got back to Dallas, I started trying to, hope for some restoration in my marriage. There was a little bit of separation time where, we were apart, but then I came back and we lived in the same home, and I lived upstairs, Kathy lived downstairs. And so I was hopeful that maybe we could mend, something that had been just absolutely destroyed. Kathy and I, we worked really hard on trying to restore our marriage. She, to this day, is my hero because she gave everything she had. I struggled a lot. I'm trying to still recover, that's all I heard was the word recovery. So I was in 3 men's recovery groups, 12-step groups, 3 a week. I went to recovery counseling. I'm still dealing with this incredible lust, and I'm still, I'm not doing the crazy stuff that I did before, but I'm still like, porn's still an issue, and I'm still going back to that, and I'm still having relapses there. And so I'm beginning to get a little bit angry at myself and like angry at God, like, God, when are you going to finally help me stop this? And then there were just some things that happened, I guess, some really important people in my life that just wouldn't respond. And so there was this feeling of isolation and abandonment. And I got angry at God. I got angry at the church. So I just kind of like said, I don't believe in Jesus anymore. I don't even believe in the church anymore. I'm done. This person reached out to me. You don't know me, but I'm a Christian, and I've been trying to share faith with this friend, and he used to ski with you. Would you talk to him about your faith? I was like, I'm probably not in the best place to talk to him about faith right now. She says, why? And I said, well, because I explained what had happened in my brokenness and my journey. And she had this like compassion to try to help me. And she had done addiction work, and she was familiar with sexual addiction. And she had a depth of relationship with Jesus that just baffled me. And this freedom and this joy and it was hard to describe. But she started giving me books to read, and she started talking to me about what it really meant to live into this Jesus life. It put me on a track to begin to genuinely encounter Jesus. And bro, Jesus showed up in my life in such a powerful way. I remember going into my living room. I'm living in an apartment by myself downtown Dallas, and I sit down on my couch, and I just said, when I got home, I just said, Jesus, if you're real, I'm just going to close my eyes, and I want you to reveal yourself to me. And I just sat there with my eyes closed, and I sat there for probably 5 minutes just being still and quiet, and I swear to you, this is the truth. I literally felt the presence of Jesus come into the room. I felt like somebody sat down beside me, almost as if the couch moved. And then I felt this arm just kind of come around my shoulder. I don't know if I heard the words or I felt it, but I just felt this presence just say, I love you. And I just sat there for like an hour, weeping and crying. And I don't know what happened that day, but it put me on a journey to seek out what it really meant to be a real Jesus person. And I started going back to like first century church history and how the early church lived. I began reading their writings and their books and like taking classes on church history. I wanted the real thing. And as I just leaned into those stories and that description and the beauty of this church that wasn't about fame or celebrity or money or business, it revolutionized my soul. It was about a year and a half after my crisis, and I'm experiencing this Jesus thing in my life, and I'm driving from Kansas City to Tulsa, and I'm just really quiet, and all of a sudden I hear this voice, Blaine, I'm not going to give you a recovery. I am calling you into resurrection. You are not ever going to recover, and you shouldn't want to recover because there's nothing in the past to recover. So just let me resurrect your soul, your life, your future. And I'd say within 3 months of that, God completely broke the power of all of my past, completely. And from that moment on, I never went back. Didn't go back to porn. Didn't go back to acting out. Didn't go back to any of it. God completely set me free. And it's been 8 years, 8 years of just walking in a freedom that is absolutely indescribable. And it's not white knuckling, and it's not getting up in the morning and hoping I get through the day. It is literally just this beautiful freedom of living into this Jesus life. It doesn't mean I don't have temptation, but I'll put it like this. The temptation in my life used to be a blowhorn, a megaphone in my ear every morning, all day long, every night. And now the temptation is like a faint whisper, like outside a door. Sure, it's there, but it doesn't carry the weight. And I feel like I am the most blessed man in the world today.
I consider him like a reasonable, wise person these days. And it's hard to pin like a moment on that stuff, but it's someone who just does the work every day. Every moment I get to be around him, I'm really grateful for him.